It is all around us, even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. I don't understand. What are you talking about? You are a slave, Joel. But you, like everyone else, were born into bondage. Born into a world that you cannot touch, taste, smell. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can tell you what Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. Stupid child safeties. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, and you get $1 million instantly transferred into your bank account, and you live the rest of your life however you want. You take the red pill, and you get infused with a power called perseverance. And I'll show you how deep this rabbit hole goes. Can I just take both? No. Can we just put them together and make a purple one? Because purple is my favorite color. And I don't really want to choose between one or the other. I like both options. Can I just do both of them? No, you cannot mix them. No, there is no purple. No, you have to make a choice. My Uber is going to be here in 10 minutes. Can I just take him with me to think about it? And then you can just find me tomorrow in your weird ways. No, you cannot take them home with you. You need to make a decision. You don't need an Uber. My crew will take you home. You need to make a decision right now. There's no turning back. Well, which one of those options would you choose? If you were offered legitimately $1 million transferred into your bank account on the one hand, or this mysterious power called perseverance somehow infused into you for life, which one would you choose? It's kind of a tough decision. Let me tell you a story. Let's look at each of those decisions played out in two different people's lives. One guy's name is Barry, and the other guy's name is Tom. All right? Barry chose the $1 million. Now, we need to understand a little bit about Barry. Barry was an average dude. He has a job that, it works for him. He doesn't really care too much about it. He actually doesn't like his boss very much. He's been married for about 16 years. He doesn't really like his wife very much. They fight a lot. They're actually on the verge of kind of breaking up. They've got a couple kids. One's a teenager and one's about 9 years old. And, they have a normal house and kind of normal average American life, middle class life. And so Barry takes option number one. He takes $1 million. What does Barry do? Okay, so Barry lacks perseverance. And so what Barry does is he immediately quits his job. He tells his boss off, quits his job. He files for divorce because he doesn't need his wife anymore and he doesn't want her to get this money. So he files for divorce. He leaves his wife. He basically leaves his kids. He sells the house or gives it to the wife and the kids. They can stay there. He goes off and he buys a much bigger, nicer house. He gets a new car. Barry starts living the good life. He kind of starts living the life that he's dreamed of always living, the life that he kind of thinks he deserves. He starts, partying with other girls. He marries a much more younger woman, one that he feels is more attractive, more physically fit. I'd say after about 4 or 5 years, Barry has burned through his $1 million. He's in a marriage to a psychotic younger woman who, really only kind of went for him because he had all this money to begin with and took her on exotic vacations and so forth. But they're out of money, and now they are fighting like crazy. She's gone most of the time. He's estranged from his kids. They don't want anything to do with him. He's out of work. He doesn't have a job. He has no money right now. He has no income, and he has no savings because he's blown through it. A lot of trips to Vegas and, the Cayman Islands and whatever. I don't know, wherever he went. And so his house is now in foreclosure. Barry sinks into a deep depression. Barry starts drinking. Barry starts just falling apart. And Barry's life falls apart. That happens all the time. People win the lottery. You know, a lot of people who win the lottery, they don't have certain disciplines like perseverance or what we would call grit. And their lives fall apart and they blow through that money in a number of years. All right, so let's look now at Tom takes the other option. Tom is wise. Tom takes the option of perseverance. Not very attractive. It's not very sexy. But Tom is in a very similar situation as Barry was. Tom has a middle-class life. He has a standard job that, you know, he's not so stoked about it. He would love to quit his job. He's in a marriage. He's been married to the same woman for 16 years. They're not so close anymore. In fact, both of them have thought about splitting up. They've got a couple kids. Very similar situation. However, it gets infused with this power called perseverance. And what happens then is that Barry's work performance starts to turn around. He starts to become a much better employee. He starts working really hard. And then in a couple years, Barry gets promoted. And then in a more couple years, he gets promoted because he's got this drive, this perseverance that just keeps him going. His income doubles. In 4 years, his income doubles because he's been such an amazing worker. Now at home, what happens is Barry starts persevering with his wife. He starts investing into his marriage. It's often said, you know, the cliche that the grass is always greener on the other side. The truth is, the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you choose to water it. If you see somebody's lawn who's, you know, they have a beautiful manicured lawn, it's green, it's cut, it's clean, that is a person who has invested time, effort, money, labor, love into that lawn. And that's why it looks the way it does. You see someone's lawn that is yellow, dead, dirt patches, it's because they've neglected it. They don't pay attention to it. So Barry, Tom, because he has this power that's been given to him of perseverance, he's able to stick with it, and he can invest into his wife. His marriage turns around. Him and his wife fall in love all over again. He invests in his children. Their relationship turns around. He is such a good worker, and he's now persevering with his finances that he pays off his mortgage. Their house is paid for. And now they begin to start saving. And Tom's life completely transforms. In 5 years, he's a whole new man. His house is paid for. He's making double what he made. He's more in love with his wife than ever before. He's happier than he's ever been. And it's all because of this thing called perseverance. And it takes Tom all the way to his end of his life. And on his deathbed, he can look back to a very fulfilled life. And so if you think about it, the decision, it's tempting to take that $1 million because we love that instant gratification and we want to fulfill all these crazy fantasies that we have. And so we can see which one has more value, $1 million, $10 million, or the power of perseverance, also known as grit. Grit is the ability to be passionate about something and stick with it for the long haul. Grit is a very important, one of the main key contributors to success. The cool thing is, most of us are not going to have $1 million dumped on us, and we're probably not going to have $1 million in our bank account in our lifetime. But the power of perseverance is something that is free and something that we can learn to develop. It takes time, it takes trial and error, but it's something we can learn to develop. Now, if you want to learn more about perseverance and this idea of grit and how to possibly acquire it, go to YouTube, look up Angela Lee Duckworth. She's probably the #1 person who has studied the idea of grit. What she did, she is an assistant psychology professor at the University of Pennsylvania. In her research, what she did is she studied a bunch of math students, military trainees, salespeople, and other people like that. And she studied, for example, math students from low income to middle income to high income. And what she found in studying all these people is the #1 key contributor to success in life. It wasn't skill set. It wasn't talent. It wasn't intelligence. It was this idea called grit, the ability to keep going, to not give up, even when you get knocked down, even over and over and over. It's this ability to continue to get up and keep going and keep pushing forward. It's called grit. And that was what her and her team discovered as the number one key contributor to success in life. Doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are, where you come from, what you've been through, grit was the number one determiner of a successful person. So Angela Lee Duckworth, check her out. She's got some TED Talks, which are awesome. And after this now, after my talk here, would you take $1 million in your bank, or would you take a gift of perseverance for the rest of your life?